Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know. Well, nobody can hear me now. Nobody's on here. But when people come on, let me know if you can hear me okay. And I'm going to, I always get this wrong, try to, so I can get to the comments when people log on. Hey, everybody. It's Kenya Rockman, the author and founder of the Child Support Hustle, the Reform Child Support Now movement. It's been a little bit since I've been on vacation, so I'm back and I have some, okay, thanks Phillips for letting me know. I have some questions that I need asked in relation to this coronavirus pandemic and why non-custodial parents are not being even mentioned when relief is being discussed all over the country. Child support every day. I got paid. You know, sometimes, and I commend you for that, Thomas. But sometimes, as we see what's going on out here, some people can't pay. People are getting laid off, sent home, no pay. The people are being relieved, and I'm gonna jump right in because I'm just going to jump right in. Okay, I want to thank everybody for your continued support. Hopefully, what I'm saying, and I think that we should seize this opportunity to make these legislators recognize the problems with the child support system and recognize also that non-custodial parents are not, nor have they ever been citizens. That is very important. And anytime something like this happens, or just any time period, non-custodial parents are always disregarded. You know, if something goes on like this, it doesn't matter. They want money anyway, even when the rest of the country and big businesses are being bailed out. But I'm not gonna go there. Okay. So as far as the recovery, hey, Mr. Riggins and King Oliver, thanks for joining. So big companies such as, and I'm just pointing out a few, Starbucks, major cell phone companies, and Microsoft, they are continuing some type of payment or relief to their workers. Smaller businesses such as Duke Energy in North Carolina and Georgia Power have temporarily suspended disconnections due to this pandemic, right? And as we know, most of us know, the U.S. government has just passed this $2 trillion stimulus package, and it's said to be the biggest in history. Okay. And once again, I will mention that non-custodial parents are nowhere mentioned in this, but there's supposed to be an estimated $1,200 plus that's supposed to help American workers and families. Okay. Hi, Donna. I'm gonna get to that, Donna. Hold on. Hi, Thomas. Okay, so the stimulus is going out. So surprisingly, after all of this, the local, state, and federal child support officials have not said anything about assisting non-custodial parents during this time when layoffs are going on. We are quarantined to our homes. You can't go out. You can be cited if you are out trying to work. My sister-in-law is a hairstylist, and small business, and she's in the loft, so she works for herself. They went and changed the locks. So if you were going in there trying to, service your customers, your clients, because that's how you eat, in that establishment in Columbus, Ohio, they changed the locks there, so you can't work. Okay, and if they find out that you're working outside your house, you'll be fined and possibly lose your certificates to become a stylist or a cosmetologist. So these are constraints. Still, none of these child support agencies have said anything except for two that I've seen, and that is that you can file for a modification if you are a non-custodial parent. The problem with that, and I wrote a blog about it. Oh, I'm going to make sure I put all the links of what I'm about to discuss in the comments. I'll wait until I'm finished though, since I'm talking. is the filing a modification can take months, if not years. And it's up to the agency or the judge to grant the modification. They can deny it no matter what your circumstances. So if it's denied, that non-custodial parent is still on the hook for all of the child support accumulated during the period that they asked for a modification. So good try, child support enforcement. That's not good enough. Telling parents to ask for a modification when they are out of work and cannot pay any money is not good enough. We want to pick up the ball. We know you dropped it for all these years, but it's because you can. There's no accountability. Okay. So we start with the stimulus package, and we can go back to 2008 because so far they haven't put out any new information about the stimulus package. But if we go back to the most recent, which is 2008, and they sent out stimulus money because it was a financial crisis, okay? What they didn't tell people is that when they sent that stimulus money out, that if you owed any debt, i.e. arrears, back taxes, things like that, the money could be offset or seized to apply towards that debt. Now, because the final bill hasn't come out yet, we don't know if that's going to apply to this stimulus package, but they haven't said that it wouldn't apply. And questions have been asked about this, but as far as we know, it can't. They're going to garnish this money, and the reason why I say that they will probably garnish this money, even though it hasn't been written, because today they released, and I say they, the Department of Education released a statement saying that people with student loan debts will not have their wages garnished. Let me make sure I have this right, guys. Garnish on student loan. Okay, keep in mind that there has been relief for those being garnished for owing student loan debt. Now, I'm all for relief for student loan debt. I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying that's a government-owned debt, and it's garnished just like child support debt is garnished. Your taxes are offset just like if you owe child support. But they have released a statement that said that child support debt on any other house enforced and taxes offset are being suspended. The government will not withhold tax returns or Social Security payments during this pandemic. So they're addressing student loan debt, but not child support debt. So they're not charging interest rates. It's been set to 0 for student loan debt. Interest rates have been set to 0 for the next 2 months. And this is going to be backdated to March 13th. Still nothing about child support debt. Of course, child support payments, when they're late, they're still going to accumulate interest, late fees. Punishments are still going to be enforced because they're telling parents to go and file a modification. Courts are closed. Child support agencies are closed. They're not going to get their modifications heard or decided. And like I said, if when they are heard, they can still be denied. And that leaves that non-custodial parent still on the hook for money that they don't have. And having said that, child support payments need to be stopped immediately, as backdated to when parents were told they couldn't go to work. I had a parent today reach out and said 100% of his paycheck was garnished. He can't even pay rent. They're even giving relief for rent, not for child support. And for those who say that non-custodial parents should still pay, even if they don't have an income, my question to them is, where's the money going to come from? Custodial parents that are struggling and cannot afford to pay or take care of their kids can go down and apply for public benefits, and I'm going to get into that. They can go and apply for relief and assistance, and on top of that, now there's a stimulus package out. Non-custodial parents get no relief. And why should a non-custodial parent not be granted relief? Because they have a child support order. Okay. And I hope you guys reach out to the agencies that are still open, to your legislators, and ask them, why are we not getting relief? And even after this, why is there not any relief? Because there's money. And that's what I'm gonna get into right now. When they say there's no money for us to stop payments or there's money for the government to even make up the payments, because you have to remember the child support system is a welfare recovery program, right? So all they did was stopped the safety net that came along with welfare programs, such as they changed it from ABC, AFDC, if I'm saying that correctly, and made it TANF when they reformed the welfare system and the child support system. So they just shifted the burden, so to speak, of providing for low-income children. They put it on non-custodial parents, who are also large in part low income, and then they cut welfare benefits. So welfare as we knew it ceased to exist. It just stopped. But we still pay taxes. They never said, oh, you guys are getting a tax cut because we're not paying welfare out like we used to. So we're still paying taxes, and that money is still being collected. But I'll get to that about that money. So by its own admission, this is, so if they say that there's no money, by its own admission, the child support is a government success story, and it pays for itself. So this program is already paying for itself. So even if they stop collecting child support for a couple months or indefinitely, this program pays for itself. And they tell us, just like in 2018, $5.14 was collected for every dollar spent on a child support program. That's all profit. After that first dollar, that's all profit. Some states receive even more. For instance, Mississippi, $10.85 for every dollar. Puerto Rico, $11.58. South Dakota, $10.24. Texas, $10.04. With that type of return on investment, the government can afford to relieve non-custodial parents a couple of months. They couldn't stop the child support payments for a couple of months while everyone recovers, and send those payments from their coffers to custodial parents, and just make it as if it were a cash benefit, a welfare benefit, because we know that money is still there, because they're making on average $4.14 for every dollar they spend. Okay, that's one way that non-custodial parents can be relieved. Let me check the comments real quick, guys. Hi, Savannah. Hi, John. They should, for temporary situations. Hi, William. Hi, Lala. I'll answer questions, you guys, as soon, because this is serious. Because hey, people are going to, when this is all, when it lifts itself up, or when the relief comes, people are going to have enforcement tactics against them, i.e. arrest warrants, license suspensions, liens on their bank accounts, if there's any money left in them. Like, there's going to be serious repercussions if they don't do anything about these child support payments. Now, people that have been paying faithfully, who now have to miss a payment or two or three because of this quarantine, are going to face punishments that other people are not going to face. So, okay, so let's look at the incentive money that states receive based on operating Title 4D child support programs. And for those unfamiliar, Title 4D is basically a welfare case versus a non-Title 4D, which is a non-welfare case. Okay, so the child support agencies per state receive federal incentive money for operating these child support programs, and they have to meet these 5 performance measures. You can get my book, The Child Support Hustle. You can get it at thechildsupporthustle.com. It breaks down all the performance measures and more. So I break the system down. So in 2018, the states received a total of $510+ million. It's $510,116,485 to be exact. So when they receive this incentive money, the statutes allow the state to use those incentive payments for other activities outside of the child support enforcement program, as long as these activities will contribute to improving the effectiveness and efficiency of the state's Office of Child Support and are approved by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Now, the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement always talks about them helping both parents. That's how they've been able to sell this program to so many people. they say that they are there to help both parents. So this is a time when they can show and prove. Both parents might be out of work and struggling. So you can help right now by taking some of that $500 million that you have received nationally and help some of the non-custodial parents out, if not all, who are struggling based on this pandemic. You take that money and apply it towards those payments that they might not be able to make while you're stopping any enforcement actions against them. That's so simple. And it's something that should be looked at after the pandemic is over. And I hope it's over soon. But this is something that can go on right now. This is not going to cost you any money, government officials. This is money that's already been paid. And that's in 2018. We don't even have the numbers for 2019. So that's 2 ways that they can relieve non-custodial parents while everybody else is getting relieved. Oh, please share this video. Somebody told me that a while ago. I'm more of a writer than a speaker, so I kind of get caught up. I'm just trying to get the information out, and I don't think about. Please like, please share. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hi, Sean. Hi, John. Crystal. Hey. Okay, so. Okay, I put this, a pandemic, which is leaving parents out of work and without an income, seems to be a great qualifier as to where the incentive money should be spent. I might have said that already, but I'm gonna say it again because it is. And if the incentive money isn't enough, let's examine the money not being used as safety net for the most vulnerable Americans. Okay, by their own admission, again, the child support program reduces and avoids the need for other public programs in 2 ways: recovering costs and by reducing or eliminating the need for public welfare programs, welfare recovery. A lot of people like to argue that they don't like welfare and child support to be together, or to know that those 2 are interrelated, but they are. Okay, so let's be clear. When a custodial parent applies for cash and medical benefits, sometimes it's other benefits per state, food stamps, child care, it depends on the state. They are forced to sue the other parent for child support. Sometimes it's not the other parent either. Shout out Carnell Alexander in Detroit. You can put in, a custodial parent can put any name down. That's who the government is going to pursue for child support. So that dispels the myth that everybody on child support is on child support because they did not provide for their children. That's false. If the custodial parent needed help by needing a public assistance, TANF, cash assistance, they are forced in order to receive those benefits. They are mandated to sign their rights over to child support, over to the state. Yes, they are mandated. Unless there's a good cause, they are mandated to sign their rights over to future child support payments over to the state. So, and having said that, more than half of the states now, they can pass through the child support they receive for these vulnerable people. They can pass it on, right, to these 2 low-income families, but more than half of the states refuse to. That means they keep all the child support money. Even if the person, the family doesn't even receive any cash benefits. And anybody from old school, back before the child support program evolved to what it is today, knows that people used to get a monthly welfare check and it was indefinite. Well, after this reform, they put time limits on it and there was strict criteria. So people aren't getting a welfare check, so to speak, a TANF check, a cash benefit indefinitely. That's out. So they still got all this money. So if the states will actually pay the child support that has been stolen, and I say it's stolen, but disguised as a repayment for a grant, because we know that this TANF benefits, all these public benefits, they're grants. That's why they don't go after custodial parents for any type of repayment. These are grants, not loans. But that's a whole different discussion on how they are able to finagle and hustle non-custodial parents into this repayment for a grant that's not a loan. But if you go to childsupporthustle.com, I have written so many blogs, I have videos. Go check it out. Y'all be surprised at how much what they're doing out here. What's up? Well, most of us won't because we're living this, but they okay. I'm gonna stick to the topic. Okay, so the states won't miss this money, and the non-custodial parent can also recover while the custodial parent continues to receive the payment. Like they can actually recover because a lot of these parents are paying like 70% of their income from working. There's non-custodial parents that are homeless because of child support. They can't modify the payment because they get refused, even though they can't afford. They're not even supposed to take that much money. There's so many problems with the system. And even if the custodial parent doesn't receive a full payment, say the government says, oh, we can't pay a full payment, but we can give them some. At least they're getting something. Okay. But there's even more money because of these block grants. I mean, it's so much money, y'all. I can't believe that well, I can believe, but I'm so disappointed that our officials have not addressed this pressing issue with non-custodial parents and these payments already. And they act like there's no money. And if they want me to write this out and put it in a bill, I will, no problem. Okay, so finally, some more money comes from these block grants. So when they did the reform, they changed these grants to block grants for the state to use. And to be clear, these are annual sums of money that are awarded by the federal government to the state and local government to help pay for specific programs. Okay, so the thing with the block grants is that they don't have to tell what they spend this money on. So they get X amount of dollars every year. They have to spend some of it, but not specifically. So, I already said that. So they are, okay, so every state, every year is getting this block grant money, but it doesn't necessarily have to, it's TANF block grant money, but it doesn't have to be spent on TANF or helping low-income people. So the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities, they released a report that specified where the money was not being spent. Okay, so the three of the states that I talked about, I want to just talk about the money that is funneling through these states, so that is not being used for low-income people, and they can be using this for a relief for non-custodial parents. So Texas, remember, that was $10.04 for every dollar. They spent $862 million under the TANF program. But basic assistance, where the national average is 21%, Texas only spent 6%. Work supports and supportive services, 0.4%, which is $3 million, where the national average was 3%. Child care and tax credits, 0. For those both nationally, 17% and 9% respectively. Now, here's a clincher. Block grants can be carried over to the next year. And as of 2018, Texas had accumulated $328 million in unspent TANF money. They need to and can suspend payments for non-custodial parents and use that reserve money to make up the difference. South Dakota spent $33 million. Remember, they got $10.24 for every 24 cents for every dollar. They didn't spend anything for tax credits or pre-K. Very little, $15 million for basic assistance. And then Mississippi, and that's they have the second highest unemployment rate, and they rank #1 in poverty. They spent $0 in tax credits and pre-K, child care, 1% of the $135 million of the money they received, basic allowance, 5%. You guys get the point. They have all of this money that they can relieve non-custodial parents of this child support, the payments and the debt, so that they're not punished once the economy picks back up. So again, we ask that everybody contact your agencies, those that are open, ask them, tell them that modifications are not enough. That's not enough relief for non-custodial parents that are also trying to survive during the coronavirus pandemic. The time is over for non-custodial parents to be considered second-class citizens. And it's proven time and time again, when there's a crisis, when there's not a crisis, non-custodial parents' rights are continuously violated. Nobody says anything. There's no accountability with the system. And again, they're being ignored when the whole country, even the world, is reeling from the coronavirus pandemic. Non-custodial parents are still being expected to carry on life as usual, which means bills as usual with no relief. And the time has come for us to stop it. There's enough of us. We come together, we contact these legislators, and tell them we're not standing for this anymore. This is a perfect opportunity. So that is it for me, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. I know that was long and I know that was a lot of information, but I just had to share that. And it's so, and the student loan thing is so important, because if they don't pay their student loans, right, they're not going to jail. They're not getting their license suspended. Nobody's coming and beating on their door, you know, serving warrants and putting them in jail indefinitely, but they just addressed student loan debt and how they're not going to touch it. That's another slap in the face. So don't forget, share the video. Even if you didn't get a chance to watch it now, maybe go back and watch it later. I'll post it on YouTube. And definitely sign the petition. We're going to move on to the next levels. Like, we're going to have to, man, let's just everybody band together. Let's get it. Let's go. Reform, repeal, revoke. They're paying attention. And right now, they have no choice, because if you don't have any money, you can't pay. They're going to lock you up for that, debt or prison. Well, they've been locking us, been locking you guys up for that. It's time for a lot of this shit to stop. I said I was gonna stop cussing, but this is some bullshit. So y'all keep fighting, and just know that you're not alone. Hey, Lit, and hey, share your stories. If y'all don't come here, if people come here to be negative, put other people down, going through this trying time, there's other pages. If y'all want to bash people, go there. This is not the page for that. There's plenty of people that support that deadbeat dad bashing and all that carrying on. Y'all can go over there and do that. That's not here. We're here to support parents that are out here trying to support their children. All right. Remember, they can ignore hundreds, they can ignore thousands, but they cannot ignore millions. Let's go.